As y'all may or may not know, soccer is one of the passions in my life, and even though it's not the biggest sport in America, it is definitely the biggest sport worldwide. It's the most popular. Currently, it has over 250 million players in over 200 countries. It has 1.3 billion diehard fans. That means that they're so dedicated to the sport, they watch soccer weekly. And this summer, one of the biggest soccer tournaments in the world is being held in Ukraine and in Poland. It's called the European Football Championship, or it's also called Euro 2012. The idea was first proposed by Henri Delany of the French Football Federation in 1927. Delany insisted that this competition should not lead to an infinite number of matches, so it should end on time, nor should it harm the World Cup. And participants should not be forced to play the same opponents in the same groups. So it doesn't harm the World Cup because it is 2 years before the World Cup. The World Cup's held every 4 years, and so is the Euro Cup. So 2 years, 2 years, and 2 years. And also, the opponents don't play each other all the time. Drawing is random for all the groups that they have. And this tournament wasn't carried out until 1960, and it only started with 4 teams. But the tournament has gotten bigger. It went from 4 to 8, from 8 to 16, which we have today, and then from 16 to 24, which will be in 2016 in France. Qualifying for the Cup is a very extensive campaign. Right now, there are 9 groups, 6 groups that have 6 teams in them, and then 3 groups that have 5 teams in them each. The top team from each group, and then the second team from all the groups combined, move on to the finals. The remaining 4 spots are played out in a playoff with the remaining 8 teams. To figure out who wins the group, 3 points for a win, for each win, and then 1 point for a tie. And then in the group of 6 teams, they all play each other once. So it's just a round-robin tournament. The qualifiers happen right after the World Cup, and then they have 2 years to prepare for the actual final tournament. The final tournament is just much like the qualifying stage, but there's 16 teams, and then there's 4 groups with 4 teams each. The top winner from each group plays the second place from another group. So 4 groups, A, B, C, and D. The top from A will play the second from B, top from C will play the second from D, and so on. If there's a tie, there's 2 periods of extra time, 15 minutes each, and if that doesn't settle the actual game, then there's penalties. And then, okay, so to move on in the group, if you're tied on points, just like the qualifying system with 3 points and then the 1 point for a tie, you go off of whoever has the highest number of points first, and then goal differential, which is how many goals you scored against how many goals you got scored on. And if that still doesn't settle it, it's the highest number of goals you scored in the overall tournament. The winner of the Euro Cup actually gets to go to the Federations Cup, which is, it's held in the nation that holds the next World Cup. It's held the year before it, and it's basically just a dress rehearsal for the World Cup. It's just practice, pretty much. It's still prestigious, but it's not as big. So basically, this tournament is one of the biggest in the world. It has nations like Spain and Germany, and whoever wins it gets to boast European dominance for the next 4 years. It's not as big as the World Cup, but boasting European dominance is amazing. Are there any questions?
Who do you think's going to win the tournament this year?
This year, I think it's between Germany and Spain, but I'm leaning towards Germany because Spain are missing some key players. So y'all should all tune in. Are there any more questions?
Who won last year?
Spain won, 4 years ago.
Oh, my bad.
They're the reigning European champions, so we'll see what happens.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.